Hello, anybody watching? My name is Dylan and I like to build houses in The Sims 4. I am back continuing Wisteria Lane and I have 4358 Wisteria Lane for you today. This house ends up having 2 floors, 3 bedrooms, and 2 full bathrooms, and it's the home of Karen McCluskey and her husband Roy. I think his last name is Bender, but I'm not totally sure on that. He's not really much of a character in the show. This is actually the second version of this house because the first version of it ends up getting knocked down in a tornado in the middle of season 4, and it's kind of the mid-season finale. Is Mrs. McCluskey's original house gets knocked down by a tornado, and Lynette's family is inside of it, and so it ends on a cliffhanger of like, oh my God, are they gonna be okay? Are they gonna be okay? And it turns out, they all were okay. Unfortunately, Ida Greenberg passes away because the house collapsed on her, but Lynette's family is fine. So they kind of did this cliffhanger of, oh my God, like, they're gonna die, but then they didn't. And a character did die, but she wasn't really that important, and she wasn't really that integral to the show anyway, so it's like, okay, that was kind of silly. But I also think when they knocked down her house in season 4, that was when the writer's strike, I think of 2007, was going on. So I'm not actually sure if that was supposed to be the mid-season finale, but it was. I think because of just what was going on at that time. There was the whole writer's strike, and they weren't getting paid enough money, and so like all of the primetime TV shows of the time, including Desperate Housewives, they all saw their seasons shortened by quite a bit actually. That's just something I remember. It's really neither here nor there, but something I remember that was going on during this time. So like I said, this is Karen McCluskey's house, her second house. I really like this house. It's maybe not my absolute favorite, but I do like the way it turned out. At least in the game, I think it looks super cute. This house is the only one on Wisteria Lane that it's like an actual house that you can like really go into, and you could go on both floors. It has 2 full floors, is what I'm trying to say, versus some of the other ones don't have anything in the interior at all, and other ones only have like a room or 2, or maybe the first floor is all designed as a soundstage. But this house actually has the full first floor, second floor, and I think it has running water as well, but I'm not totally sure. I know some of the houses only have running water, so they would use them as a bathroom, but this one has everything, which I think is pretty cool. So I didn't really use any pictures of the interior of this house to get it done, because I couldn't find any, and I didn't really feel like going through all the episodes of the show in order to make the interior of this house, because this house doesn't really matter that much. I mostly like it for the exterior. I think the exterior is super cute. But because the interior isn't really shown that much in the TV show, I didn't really try to mimic it all that well. Like, I remembered kind of the floor plan, because there is a couple episodes in season 7 that have interior shots of the house. So I could remember that, but I couldn't remember exactly what the interior was supposed to look like. The way I saw it when I was building this house earlier today was, I figured it was supposed to be a new house in 2007. So even though Karen McCluskey is an older woman, she built a new house, therefore the interior is going to look somewhat new as well. That was kind of my idea with it. So this might not be the perfect representation of the house, but I think it's cute. And if you don't like it, you can always change it, of course. I hope you like it, but if you don't, that's your decision too. I like it a lot, so it is what it is. So this is my first house in quite a while. I took a hiatus from building for a while because I ended up moving back to Minnesota from where I was. I moved to New Jersey, just outside of New York City, back in last August. And I was there until June 30th, 2020. And on June 30th, I moved back to Minnesota because, unfortunately, what happened earlier this year that would make jobs really difficult to find. I was already having difficulty finding a job out in that area, and then the pandemic hit, and then all the jobs kind of dried up, and so I had to come back to Minnesota because it just was not working for me out there. So I came back June 30th, like I said. Even though I wasn't really able to find a job out there, immediately after coming back here, I found a job, and a good job, and I'm still there. I've been there since July 20th. So I mean, it's crazy how the experience that I have apparently meant nothing in New York, but immediately finds me a job here. Not bitter at all. It's fine. But so I took a break from building and tried to focus more on getting my life a little bit back in order because I ended up, moving to New Jersey with my partner and my cat, and then I ended up coming back to Minnesota without either one of those things and still no job. So it was a little bit of a change. And then once I got my job, I was able to start saving money, and I did so immediately, which was great. And then a couple of months later, I was able to save up enough money to find my own apartment, which is where I am now. That does not mean come and murder me, unless you really want to, unless I've done something wrong. But I'm actually back on the same street that I used to be on right before my partner and I moved to New Jersey. I'm on the exact same street, about 5 minutes up, a 5-minute walk up from where we used to be, which is great because I already know the area, I already know the grocery store, I already know some of the people. Moving can be very stressful, especially when you're in a pandemic, but it's not as stressful if you already know where you are, which is great. So that's what's going on right now. I got a job, I moved to my own place. Things are looking up, I think, at least for me a little bit. I mean, they're looking up the best they can. We still have a pandemic going on. We just passed a very crazy election cycle. Regardless of if your candidate won or not, I mean, it was a lot for everybody. So I'm just glad that that's over. Hopefully we'll have good news on the coronavirus soon, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So when I was building this when I was building this home, I left the bedrooms upstairs unfurnished because I wasn't quite sure who would be in the bedrooms upstairs. Because this house is only owned by one older woman and her later husband, and she doesn't have any grandchildren, unfortunately, because her young son passed away as a child, and he was her only son, and then her husband died years later, and they didn't have any more children. So later she remarries, and then her new husband moves in, but what I'm getting at is they don't have any kids. So I didn't really know what to put in the bedrooms upstairs, so I just left them blank, and I hope that's okay. You can find this house on my gallery at Carl Dillinson if you're looking for it, just like you can find all my Wisteria Lane houses. I think I am going to build one more house for Wisteria Lane on a smaller lot, and then after that I am going to do one more, a second part of the Wisteria Lane tour. And then by then I will have done, I think, 9 or 10 houses or something like that. So I'm really excited to do that and get this series out of the way. And I think once I do another tour video, I think I am going to go in and redo the bedrooms here. But if I do that, I am going to, I'll re-upload the house. So it is what it is. We're getting to, this is the entryway here. And I wasn't really sure what to do with this either. Like I said, I didn't really look at any pictures. So I just kind of was making things up as I was going. And I didn't really want to just like do a repeat of every single room or anything. I wanted things to look like people actually lived there and it wasn't just a copy paste in each room. But because I wasn't looking at any pictures, I didn't really quite know what to do. So I kind of ended up making things look a little similar. I mean, I think the house looks cute. I would download it. I would live in it if it was a real house. Is this my favorite house of Wisteria Lane? No. I think the exterior is super cute, and later you'll see pictures of the yard. I think the yard is pretty good too. But the interior is just kind of generic to me. I don't mean that as in like a don't download my house because it looks awful. No, I don't think it looks awful, but it's just I think it's just because it was a character in the show. She's not really a huge part of the show, so therefore, like, what are they going to do with her house? If she doesn't really have a whole lot of stuff to do in the show, her personality isn't really, you can't really make her personality shine with this house like you can other ladies in the show, which is a little bit of a shame, because she's, the oldest one, and she does have a story to tell, but she's mostly just a background character. So therefore, this is just a background house. So I kind of decorated it as such too. But I like that green color on that wall. I almost was going to use blue, but I decided to use green, and I don't know, I think it ended up super, super cute, and I really like the furniture pieces. I used a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Cats and dogs. Cats and dogs was used in this house a lot, and was Get Together. I used both of those. I really like both of those packs as far as stuff goes anyway, but I kind of figured, because I usually try to only do mostly base game, that I was like, I have the base game, and I have a whole bunch of other packs that I paid for, but I never really use any of the stuff. So you know what? I'm going to use the stuff this time. So I did. So this house is relatively small compared to some of the other ones, but I think it has a good amount of stuff in it, especially from Get Famous and Cats and Dogs and Get Together, stuff like that. I know it kind of unceremoniously just ends. I did decide to cut off the recording a little bit early, just because you got the gist of what I was doing. So this is the house, 4358 Wisteria Lane. If you like it, you can certainly find it on the gallery. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe. I would love it if you would subscribe, but I will still love you even if you don't. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye-bye.